This is a school, it's a week for children to return to school, and it's always important to put emphasis on safety rules and the importance of child safety in schools. I'm happy that the PR Liaison Officer Traffic has talked about the traffic guidelines. Now that some schools have opened, especially for new entrants, that is primary one, and but this very week we are going to see more schools open midweek. That is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then Monday. Of course, we would like to start by indicating that due to when schools are reopening like this, we anticipate an increase in school activities, and because of that, we always come out as the police leadership to remind school administrators, educators on their legal responsibilities to protect school children from harm, including risks posed by health, safety and security. These guidelines that we issued are usually adhered to, but we do release them in coordination with the Ministry of Health, with the Ministry of Education. Now, well, it's always important that child safety is observed in schools, because children are one of the world's most precious gifts, but in many cases they lack the skills to protect themselves. So that's why the responsibility falls on parents, educators in schools, for them to help teach children on safety and security to avoid tragic incidents. Like sometimes fires, issues of kidnap, and other violent incidents. Now, because of that, there are certain tips that we want to share, basically with the parents who are out there. And some of these tips are, first of all, it's important to help our children memorize contact information now that they are going back to school. For a child to know their full name, address, home number, and how to use a phone where necessary. And instances, it's also important that a school has a record of emergency contact details. That includes the office phone, the cell phones, the home phones. They should make sure that the child at whatever stage knows which adult to contact in case of an emergency. Parents, as we take children to school, please, let's teach them to be alert and vigilant. They should not leave the school premises unattended. Sometimes you see young children going on their own. There are a lot of child predators, kidnappers, whom we need to guard against. It's common that when children go to play, they tend to lose their sense of space and time, and you find them, playing and easily getting lost, which is not good. That is, if they are not vigilant, they can easily stray out of the protected zone. Some parents go extents of while labeling the school bags and uniforms of the children. They tend to put on the full names and everything. That is not encouraged, because when you write a child's full names on the properties for identification, they can easily be taken advantage of by a kidnapper, an abductor. So it is always good to use indicators instead of names while labeling. This can be worked out with the school. It's important for children, while being taken to school, to be helped to memorize the routes and landmarks show the child landmarks and safe areas between the school and the home so that they have somewhere to run in case of emergency. Children who have allergies, they should let the school get to know. Strangers are a no-no. We need to teach our children to be cautious of strangers. Last term, we got incidents where 2 children were kidnapped, although we eventually recovered them, one in Kayunga, and another one was recovered as far as Busia. You can imagine that disruption and inconvenience, wastage of resources. It's because these children were not taught how to say no to strangers. Children like playing a lot, so schools and parents should make sure that they keep dangerous items out of reach, especially for young kindergarteners and primary pupils who like experimenting with everything, including sharp objects and with fire objects as well. So they should be made aware from day one about some of these dangerous weapons. And then we also want to caution schools about bullying. Bullying is an intolerable offense that we strongly condemn. We need to teach children to avoid unknown places, traveling in groups, especially if they are day scholars, and reporting suspicious activity around their surroundings, and even avoiding negative behavior towards other students. Now, as far as head teachers are concerned, we want to call upon all head teachers, directing and teaching staff in schools to be aware of the child protection policy. This is a period where we encourage them to review the child protection policies and student policies in their school. And we also tend to encourage them to closely monitor the children, because we are getting so many indicators of abuse and neglect of children, including exploitation, to help identify cases of children who may be in need or help of protection. This abuse and neglect of course comes in many forms. There are forms of physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse. All these we keep on reminding head teachers during this period, and also incidents of child-on-child abuse. These are becoming very common in school, and we need to ask the head teachers to continue working with the police as well as with the other directing staff. There are security emergency preparations in case of where an emergency has arisen, like a school fire, a collapse of a building, and so the security emergency preparations are very important. And then also getting to review the school visitor procedures and how to access classrooms and certain premises within the school should be done with a lot of priority. We recommend that all children are examined upon their return to school for any signs of child abuse during the holiday. And this usually helps us, especially with the girl child. We tend to register incidents of sexual abuse on many of the girl children. When transporting children to school, ensure you walk with them to teach them the safe habits around the drop zones. This has been talked about. And for boarding schools, it is important that parents establish contacts to monitor the safe arrival of some of the adult children, like in secondary school, who go by themselves. But it is important that you confirm with the school whether your child has arrived at the school or not. We want to advise parents to avoid the use of shortcuts. It puts children in very vulnerable situations. And also to watch out for stalkers on foot, motorcycles or motor vehicles. This is especially where the child or the parent is targeted for kidnap. Then prohibited items for boarding schools. We ask the parents, please don't smuggle any prohibited items to school. And what I know is that most parents are usually vigilant most teachers are usually vigilant during that period where children are returning to school. But somewhere in between, halfway, midway the school term, there are always prohibited items that are smuggled into school in form of drugs. We've seen this previously, which is smuggled in snacks and bites. Other prohibited items like smartphones, selected electrical gadgets, other flame-based products like candles, lighters, matches, which are major fire hazards, drugs, alcohols, energy drinks, and any other items which are deemed illegal should actually not be smuggled into schools, especially the boarding ones. We continue to encourage parents and all stakeholders. They should keep in mind that security is an ongoing process, so they should regularly keep on carrying out inspections of dormitories and classrooms throughout the entire school term to continue to help promote vigilance and situational awareness. This also includes the immediate surrounding. So the IGP and the police leadership would like to wish all pupils and students a happy first term and urge them to report any crime and safety concerns to the school teachers, the LCs, or area police.